Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 15 August 2024. It's Thursday night at 9 o'clock. That means it's time for a knife sale on the Apostle P channel, and a knife sale we shall have. Before we get into the thick of it, let's do a little bit of housekeeping as usual. First off, I need you to be familiar with and agreeable to the terms of the sale. I'm going to post them on the screen for you in just a moment. I will also print them in the description underneath this video. The description will prove quite important for your purchase experience. So let's go over what else is in it. At the very top, above the terms of the sale, you're going to see 3 links to previous videos on this channel. The first of them is called a primer for buyers. That's a 38-minute expanded explanation of the terms of the sale. So if you read through the terms and something puzzles you, watch the video. It explains exactly how we do things and why every Thursday night. The second link will be pertinent to you if you're interested in using this weekly sales event to move along some of your personal collection. It's called FAQs for Consignors, and it explains how everything works from the consignor's perspective. And then the third link, as always, is to my rates and services video for the TheApostleP Knife Service, the original precision sharpening service for the online knife community. And speaking of that, this is the time if you have sharpening to send. Backlog is under 2 weeks. So if you've got some of your cutlery that doesn't exactly cut how you want it to anymore, box it up and send it to me, and that video explains how to do that. Also in the description below the terms of the sale, the reason you all came tonight, the list of tonight's inventory, complete with timestamps on the left, pricing on the right. Now in that pricing column, you're generally going to see 2 numbers for a given knife. The one on the left will be the price of your knife as shown in the video. The price on the right as sharpened by the TheApostleP Knife Service. And there will be next day sharpening for the first 4 knives purchased to be sharpened tonight. Those will ship tomorrow the 15th along with all of the as shown inventory. If you fall outside that first 4, not to worry. Your sharpened knife should ship in less than 2 weeks. Now if you see the word sold in lieu of pricing in that far right column, the knife you're looking at has been bought and paid for by its new owner. No need to send an inquiry or an I'll take it for anything marked sold when you look through the inventory list. I believe that's about it for the housekeeping. Let's get the terms up on the screen for you, and we'll be right back with the sale. Here are the terms. All right, let's get to it, shall we? First up, some leftovers from last week. The first among them will come with this tin, no outer box, no paperwork. It is the Shock DW-6900Y-9JF. It is 44 millimeters in diameter, 53 lug to lug to the end of the gray, about 17 thick to this highest point above the light button, and then the lug width is proprietary. So the case shroud is gray, and it's kind of a soft-ish material. The resin strap yellow with a red keeper. It runs the 3230 quartz module. Positive LCD display. The 3 sub-registers are essentially second counters. No solar, no Bluetooth, no multiband 6 on this one. You have to set it like a watch. And then this button is your backlight, which you'll not be able to see under the studio lights. Anywho, we're going to say it's near mint to like new in tin. These are out of stock. Web retail was originally about 95 bucks. Sold listings on eBay are doing between 75 and 95. We started this one out a week ago Thursday at $70. Dropped it to 60 for the weekend. It's still here. Let's do 50 this week on the G-Shock. We'll just call it the DW-6900. Pretty nice buy. Next up, we've got a Chris Reeves Service Department box that houses a Protech TR3. A knife that I own in its lefty version, and I love. Black hard anodized aluminum scales, plain on the clip side. A little bit of wear underneath that clip. And the clip this is wearing is, I think, an MXG deep carry titanium, black in color. The blade and the hardware are kind of a deep sandblast finish. Gorgeous swedged drop point. 154 cm steel. Button lock automatic, as you saw. Lockup is rock solid. The action is Protech snappy. The blade centering on this one, perfect. Condition will be near mint, in the wrong box. Price of these brand new, and they are currently available at your favorite web retailer for $175. We ran this last week at $135, dropped it to $120 for the weekend. This week, $110 for one of the sweetest user Protech autos they've ever made, the TR3. $110 like it is, $135 sharpened. Next day sharpening is available. Next up, we've got one from Medford. Here we go. Second week appearance for this one, and all your goodies are inside the box, by the way. There's probably some other stuff in that Pelican style box. This is the Belay in S45VN. Tumbled PVD finish on the blade and handle. Here's the knife. Who needs to look at the end of the box when we have a knife? So PVD coated titanium, PVD coated blade, PVD coated backspacer, but a beautifully stone-washed milled titanium clip. It does have a Hinderer-like lock bar stabilizer. No steel insert. And it's a flipper, boys. It almost flips. You know, it's a Medford, so you could get good at that. Swedged spear, tumbled PVD in S45VN. 4 1/8 blade length, 5 1/8 handle, so nice efficient blade to handle ratio. Lanyard slot in the backspacer. Just a beautifully machined piece, not overly thick behind the edge. There's your lock engagement. And it's got that silky smooth Medford action. Not particularly free, but silky smooth. Centering is perfect. These are available new for $500 web or $550 web retail. And this one we'll call near mint to like new in box. We priced it a week ago at $375, dropped it to $350 for the weekend. This week, somebody gets a nice deal. $325. Like it is. $355. I sharpened that S45 blade. That's the Medford on Belay. Next up, we have a little baby Microtech in a Civivi pouch. No box with this one. It is the Microtech UTX-70. And let's see, what finish would we say? Well, it's got the two-tone blade, right? Black DLC with that little bit of satin running down that center spine. CTS 204P is your blade steel. 2 7/16 inches in length. The handle's 3 9/16. Got your normal complement of Microtech hardware. Standard Microtech clip. The nut has the glass breaker. Black hard anodized aluminum handle, of course. Button effort medium. Light to medium, maybe you might say. Great fidget knife while you're watching Halloween with your wife. Driving her nuts. Reliability is 100%. Serial number is 8149. It was born 11 of 2019. We'll call it near mint to like new, no box. The UTX-70 in this configuration is currently sold out everywhere. If it were available, it would be $249 web retail. We ran this one last week at $185. On Thursday, dropped it to $170 for the weekend. This week, $155 is your price. No need to sharpen on the Microtech UTX-70 double-edged OTF automatic. Next up, this knife was supposed to be a leftover last week, but I ran right past it when I was making the video, so it's the first time you're going to see it. It's from Bradford. It comes with no box, but 2 sheaths. A black one and a brown one. Both appear to be factory sheaths. It's also wearing a set of custom black and blue G10 scales, but the original checker milled Jade G10 are going to be included. Here we go. It's not just any Bradford Guardian 3, but it's the G3S with the sheep's foot blade in beautifully stonewashed Bowler N690. Blade length 3 5/8 back to the scale. The handle, measuring from the front of the scale to the back of the blade tang, is 3 5/16, but really the handle's functionally longer than that. It pinches so nicely. Got a nice little red, white, and blue paracord lanyard tied, and a sweet set of scales with a nice little bit of contour. I like them in the hand. So let's see. The sheep's foot G3 is out of stock. When it was available, it had a web retail of $150. And then, I don't know, what did we pay for those scales? Probably $50. So I would imagine the owner's got a couple $100 invested. We're offering it to you in near mint, no box condition for $120 like it is, $145 with an Apostle P edge. That's the Bradford Guardian 3S. Next up, we have a leftover Great Eastern Cutlery knife from How About the Truth. And here it is, boys. The model 772215 Northfield Yankee Barlow in old red saw-cut bone. Special factory order for my collector knives. One of only 69 pieces made. It is a gorgeous knife, as Steve says on his note. He didn't know if the liners were steel or nickel silver. I'm here to tell you they're steel. Beautiful and useful blade set, he says. Here is your tube. Unadorned with any rear label because Mike don't roll like that. And here's the knife. Oh, yeah. That's some of the best red GEC has ever done. Sometimes they do red. It ends up being pink. Now, this is a, 9-year-old knife, and it still looks richly red. You got 3 11/16 inches of closed length. You have a pair of 1095 blades. Steel bolster as well. Main blade, a gorgeous swedged spear with a long pull. Now you may notice, if I can get the light to hit right, there's some little deposits from some preservative lube. One sort of a fingerprint on the mark side. Maybe a little scratch from a polishing cloth. And some more little dots on the back side. Very, very insignificant stuff. The secondary blade, little sheep's foot. Pull weight, I'll say, is a 7.5. Walk and talk are beautiful on both blades. Both well centered. Near mint. And of course, because it's a 2015 knife, see if I can find it. It should have a TIW tang stamp. There you go. Makes it very desirable. So we ran this a week ago at $550. Got no takers. Dropped it to $475 for the weekend. This week, hard to believe you can buy this knife for this, but guys, it's $425 like it is, and $455 if you'd like to have my edge on it. That's the GEC Northfield number 77 Yankee Barlow. Next up, somebody is going to be very happy they purchased this knife because it's way better than the price will indicate. From Hogue, we have an automatic. It's the model 34050 Exploit in S30V with a matte black aluminum frame. It is a double action out the front automatic. Quite attractive, I think, with those hexagonal milled patterns. both sides. The clip is ambidextrous. Really, a spine-mounted button out the front automatic should be ambidextrous. Might as well put the clip like that. Oh yeah. 3 7/16 inches of S35 VN clip point. Is that right? Did I say that right? I'm sorry, S30V. 4 13/16 inch handle. As I said, that deep carry clip is reversible. Gorgeous stonewash on that blade. I'll call the button medium firm, but it's got a nice profile so you can really get good purchase on the button. Reliability is 100%. It locks out like most OTFs with a little rattle. I shouldn't say rattle, you have to actually move it. Condition will be, I said used and sharpened, but not particularly well, by the way. Anyhow, we'll call it near mint in box. Web retail on these currently available knives is $288 brand new at your favorite knife store online. We ran it last week for $200, got no takers, dropped it to $175 for the weekend. It's still here. Your price this week, $160. And then $185 if you'd like my edge on that S30V blade. That's the Hogue Exploit OTF automatic. That brings us to our last leftover from last week. Coming to us from We Knives, and we have only the inner pouch. I think no goodies, right? Okay. No extra hardware, no outer box. It is the model 22015-1 Nitro Mini carbon fiber. So, we have 2 titanium slabs, and they are integral bolsters and liners. You get a fine gear pattern titanium backspacer, milled titanium right-hand tip-up pocket clip, and a ball bearing flipper, which flips way better than that. Sorry. There we go. A nice little spear with a swedge and a bidirectional satin that appears to be hand rubbed. Designed by Peter Carey. Love Peter's maker's mark, by the way. The blade is CPM 20 CV. It's 3 1/8 in length. The handle 4 3/8. Very nice in the hand. Some pretty effective jimping on the spine. There's the lockup on your stainless steel inserted titanium frame lock. Beautiful. And rock solid. Ball bearing action is beautiful, and the centering is dead. I think I found one little mark. Where was it? One little mark. On a corner somewhere, but of course now I can't find it. Is it right there? I don't know. Pretty doggone near mint, though. Let's see. These are currently available for a web retail of $294. We ran it at $220 last week. Dropped it to $195 for the weekend. Your price this week, $180, like it is. $210 if I sharpen that 20 CV blade. That's the WE Nitro Mini carbon fiber marbled variety. Okay, that brings us to the fresh stuff, guys. Time for the fresh stuff. The first one from the Ontario Knife Company. Franklinville, New York, no longer in Olean. Not sure what that means. I do know we have an old pair of blue jeans for you. Yeah. It's the Model 1, formerly known as the Rat Model 1. Randall's Adventure Training. It's kind of in its basic form here. FRN scales, and I wouldn't call that OD green. I'm not sure what I would call that. Black hardware, black clip, 4-way. Positionable. And here's why we love the Rat 1. That's why we love the Rat 1. Fires like a rocket. Blade steel on this one is AUS 8. The blade length on the Rat, 3 5/8. The handle, 5 inches. Lots of real estate. You can go here. It really locks in. You can sneak forward. It loves that too. It doesn't care. It's like a honey badger. Let's see. Lockup is rock solid. Just about 50%. Kind of early for a rat. Very hard liners on these, by the way. And look at that centering for a rat. That's very, very close. Let's see. We'll call it near mint to like new in box. You can buy this knife brand new on the internet anywhere you like for 49 bucks. They're going to charge you sales tax, and since it's under 100, they're probably going to charge you a little postage. You know, how about you just buy this one? 35 bucks all in, shipped priority mail. 60 if you'd like it with my edge on it. The Ontario Model 1 in green. Next, we've got one from ZT. We're going bold. Hard to read that faded label, but it's a 0909 Les George liner lock. I think this knife sort of replaced the old 200 in ZT's lineup. And this is the first of two of these we have running tonight, by the way. Black G10. Looks like it's been sitting and getting dried out a little bit. A little bit of oil from your hand will remedy that. Deep carry, ambidextrous, tip up pocket clip. Thick stainless steel liners, black hourglass standoffs. Great flipper, by the way. Blade steel's S35 VN. Blade length 3 13/16, not a small knife. 4 3/4 handle. There's your lock engagement. Does have a ball bearing pivot. Just super solid, guys, in every way. And the centering is hard to see. There you go, perfect. By the way, serial number on this one is 5421, and that will be referenced in your description. Be sure to use it because we have two of them, okay? Discontinued, not a stock knife. Didn't last long. They were $130 when they were new, and they're gone. This one can be yours, $100. Shipped priority mail, $125 with my edge. That is the ZT-0909 number 5421. Why so specific? Because next up is another ZT, and it's another 909 by Les George. It's the same knife, guys. Black G10 scales, deep carry, tip up pocket clip, thick stainless steel liners for the liner lock mechanism. Then we have a ball bearing flipper that flips beautifully, releasing that gorgeous swedged drop point in S35 VN. This one has a serial number of 5231. Blade length 3 13/16, handle 4 3/4. There's the lockup on your heavy stainless liner lock. By the way, rock solid. Super smooth KVT bearing action. Centering on this one will be, I think I called it. Did I call it perfect? It's pretty close to perfect. Yeah. Condition will be near mint in box. And again, just some graying on the G10 just from lack of use. That is the ZT-0909 number 5231. It's $100. Like it is, $125 sharpened, and these are out of stock and discontinued. When they were available, they had a $130 web retail. Next up, a knife from J.E. Made. It comes just in a little pouch with a little poly bag and some extra hardware. How about that? The model is the Phoenix from J.E. Made. I would call this a fusion knife, right? Slip joint mechanism. Kind of harkens back to older patterns of pocket knives, but made with modern construction and materials. So we got some carbon fiber scales. The liners and bolsters are integral, all in titanium. Got a lanyard hole, thick back spring, and a little spear point blade that you open with a skagel slot. I I like that little nod to the past. Blade length on the Phoenix is 3 1/4 inches. It's an S35VN, fully flat ground. The handle length is 3 15/16, so very efficient blade to handle ratio. It is a half stop slip joint. Pull weight's about 7.5, very pinchable. Walk and tonker, pretty normal. Works right. Got the internal closed stop pin right there. Centering is very squared away. Condition will be near mint to like new in pouch. They're available new for $215. Let's do this one at $140 like it is, $165 if you'd like it with an ApostleP edge. That is the JE made Phoenix. Next up, I believe I've got one from a company I've never heard of. Let's see here. Rosecraft blades. Rosecraft blades. Interesting little box arrangement. And that box houses the Rosecraft Zambezi. I guess we'll call this, I don't know if I would call this a fusion slip joint, because it's all pinned and riveted construction. Very cool covers. Smoky gray, smooth bone. Cool shield. Stainless steel bolsters and end caps. Closed length is 3 5/8. And then you got a 2 5/16 blade. Interesting. Very low saber ground blade, and I guess we'd call that a spear point with a big forward choil. That top swedge unsharpened. Okay. Blade steel's D2. If I didn't say it, 2 5/16 inches in length, 3 5/8 handle. Half stop slip joint. Pull weight, I'm going to say it's an 8. Not a girl's knife. Centering, I'm going to call very close. Satin finish on the stainless. Nice polish on the bone. Let's see, we'll call it near mint in box. Discontinued, not a stock. When these were available, they were $55 web retail. Can't buy a new one, but you can buy this one for $40 all in, shipped priority mail, $60 with my edge. The Rosecraft Zambezi. Next, I think I sold this knife once before, because I think I remember it. That says Parts Knife by Randy Sam, GEC 86 in Venga wood. Comes in the knife ship free, heavily tooled pocket slip. So I think we have original springs and original liners from a Great Eastern Cutlery 86. And then, would we call that a shadow bolster, I guess? So a bolsterless construction. Brass pins, nice Venga wood. It has no main blade. We have 2 big, long GEC 86 secondaries. So you have what would be like a main spear on a Victorinox. That's a secondary pen from an 86 in satin. And then we have a secondary sheep's foot polished. So this probably came out of a Northfield. This probably came out of a Tidioute. I'll say, I don't know, 6 pull on both blades. Walk and talk are beautiful, and the centering is as well. Of course, the blades are $10.95. We'll call it near mint, no box with a slip. Your price, $110. $140 with my edge on both blades. That's the Randy Sam Custom GEC Parts Knife. Next up, it's case time. We have a item number 44621, but you never know them by that. The model is the 6254 SS Trapper in persimmon orange bone. Look at that, guys. Now, you'll see this knife in a couple different configurations. They're very rare with these engraved bolsters and end caps. with the X's and the dots. You got a houndstooth shield with the black case inscription. Closed length is 4 3/16. Both blades will be running on cam tangs. You have a main muskrat clip in true sharp stainless steel. I should probably wipe. There we go. That looks better. Pull weight, a 7, maybe a soft 7. But great walk and talk. If there's anything GEC could learn from Case, it's how to do cam tangs that walk and talk. That's beautiful. Space secondary. I'm going to call the centering close on these blades. Near mint to like new in box, probably near mint. Discontinued, not a stock. When these were available, they were $110 retail. I got a feeling these engraved bolsters might be a little collectible. I don't know. So let's go 85 like it is. 115, I sharpen both blades. It's the Case 6254 SS Slim Trapper. Next, back to the GEC stuff here for a bit. First, we have this one. It looks like a Huckleberry's Boys Knife, model 152118B and C in Gabon ebony wood. That means bail and chain. So you can like clip it to your vest button. How about that? Gorgeous, and you can remove that bail if you don't like it, by the way. Gorgeous, deep black Gabon ebony covers. All steel construction, so liners and bolsters in steel, and it's a single spear. There we go. Everything you need and nothing you don't. How about that? Gorgeous drawn swedge. Beautiful satin on that full flat grind. This one's almost 3.5 inches. Most of these are about 3 7/16, but this is kind of a long 15, if that makes any sense. Pull weight is a 6, but a nice 6, snappy 6. And the centering is going to be perfect. We'll call it near mint to like new in tube. They're, of course, out of stock. They always are. One sold listing on eBay recently. That knife did $254 shipped. This one can be yours with everything you see here. $160 like it is. $180 with my edge. The GEC Tidioute, number 15 B and C boys knife. Time to turn the page, guys. Let's see. Next up, this is the save me from myself moment right here. I don't own one of these currently. From the Farm and Field line of Great Eastern Cutlery, we've got the Bullbuster, number 21 5119 in OD green linen micarta. And I don't know, it just seems right to have a little leather thong lanyard. Not a small knife, boys. 4 5/8 inches of closed length, and it's girthy. It's made to fit a man's hand with a glove. Yeah. Gorgeous OD linen. They did a great job on the polish on that. The blade, a big, long drop point with lots of goo on it. Jeez, Rob, you should prep for these videos a little better. There, okay. I'm going to say the pull is an 8. I wrote perfect walk and talk. It's a little hydraulic. It's a little tight. But in a knife like this, it probably should start out that way because you're going to use the heck out of it. Beautiful blade centering. Steel liners, by the way. It'll be near mint to like new in tube. Of course, there are none available new. Sold listings on eBay ranging between $172 and $280. Who would pay $280 for a Farm and Field Bullbuster? I don't know. You're not going to have to. Your price on this one, $150 like it is. 175 with my edge. That's the GEC Farm and Field number 21 Bullbuster. Next up, okay, you guys need to pay attention here because I have two identical knives coming, but they have some accessory differences. So this one will show up in your inventory as GEC Northfield number 81 Yellow Rose plain tube, because it doesn't have the Yellow Rose label. It just has a standard Northfield label, right? Model 818222 in smooth Yellow Rose bone. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous handle. So it's got kind of a serpentine Stockman pattern handle, right? There's your yellow smooth bone, the rose shield, the double-lined bolsters. Got some nice aging going on in that bone. And the blade set, not a Stockman, but dueling muskrat clips. The main blade is etched yellow rose. Then you have the match striker nail nick. Then the secondary is plain, but still has the match striker nick. Let's see. Pull weight, I'm going to say 7 on cams. Listen to that walk and talk. You know, I was trashing GEC for their cam tang walk and talk, but this one's beautiful. Let's look for rub. Linerless construction. A little bit of rub, as you will have on both blades. But condition, I will say, is near mint in tube. Plain tube, no button, right? Sold listings for these models on eBay, the Yellow Rose 81s, $242 to $307. We're doing this one at $175 like it is, $215 if you'd like me to sharpen both blades. That's the GEC Northfield number 81 Yellow Rose plain tube. Next up, you're going to see this one coming, right? It is another 818222 Yellow Rose 81 in smooth yellow rose bone, but we have the Yellow Rose tube label and a button. Okay. Other than that, same knife. Smooth yellow rose bone, rose shield, double line bolsters, dueling muskrat clips. I got a little goop on the end of my blade. I better wipe. There we go. So there's your main Yellow Rose etch, match striker nail nick. Here's your secondary, and you're going to notice a little rub because these blades do congress. They're identical. Pull weight's about a 7, and beautiful cam tang walk and talk. See how they congress very tightly with no liners? We're going to say near mint in tube with button. They're not available new, of course. Sold listings on eBay ranging between $242 and $307. Your price on this one, $185 like it is, $225 with an ApostleP edge. So $10 more than the other one because of the tube and button, right? Next up. Well, here was the first old pair of blue jeans tonight, right? And here's the second one. If you're a man of a certain age, you know that. You know that belt sheath. Yeah, you sure do. When I was a teenager in the late 70s, early 80s, and I saw somebody with one of these strapped to his Levi's, we knew his family had a little more money. It wasn't a Schrade. It wasn't an old timer. It wasn't a case. It was a buck, 110. Yeah. And they're still making it. What are we now? Like 62 years into the production of a buck 110, something like that. And this is a beautiful example. Check out the grain in that laminated wood. It is a laminated product. You should be able to see the plies And if you look at the edge, but man, the stuff on top is absolutely gorgeous. And then the brass frame, the bolsters, end caps, and liners are two integral pieces, right? Nice snap. Beautiful clip point blade. 420 HC. What are these? Like 3 3/4 by 4 15/16. I don't think I even bothered to write down the dimensions. I did, and I was right. How about that? Action pretty free. Yeah. Centering, what? Look at that, guys. Would perfect be okay. And the lockup, dead rock solid. And by the tank stamp, if you look at the little character after the 110, that designates 2015 production. I'm going to call this a very fine example. Near mint, no box, just a little bit of tarnish on the brass. You can buy this knife brand new for $65, but it's going to come with a new, I think the new ones have the Macassar ebony. Somebody told me this. They bought out a guitar company's stock of ebony, but this will be the more durable scale material, right? Anyhow, $50 shipped priority mail, $75 with my edge. The Buck 110 from 2015. Let's put you back in your little home. There. Next up, we have one we're going to call the Budget Fixed Blade Combo. A couple blasts from the knife making past. First up is the Western SH48A. I would say that knife has been carried a lot and used a little. The sheath still holding up well. A long, slender, deeply fullered blade. What appears to be some kind of stainless steel. Blade length is 4.5. The handle's 3 13/16. Interesting. Brass guard, aluminum pommel with brass and black spacers, and I'm guessing that is Delrin jigged to look like stag, and they did a pretty good job. Pretty nice little survivor there. Okay. And then we've got one from Bear MGC. A little bit later, a newer knife, but still long out of business and discontinued, right? I don't know what to call this except the Small Hunter. I'm sure it's a stainless steel blade. Got nickel silver bolsters. Full tang construction with a multicolored laminated wood, laminated and stabilized set of covers. Not bad in the hand. 2 7/16 by 4 1/8, by the way. And a nice leather sheath. Looks like it's barely ever been used or carried. Anyhow, you can buy both all in one little package for $60 plus $25 each to sharpen. That is the Budget Fixed Blade Combo from Western and Bear MGC. Next up, we have one from Ferrum Forge and Knife Works. There it is. The Mini Archbishop in Nitro V and Tan G10. What a sweet little blade. I'm glad they don't have a lefty clip mount on these because I'd probably buy one and then I'd own a Chinese knife, and I really don't want to do that. Anywho, there we go. Beautifully blasted and tumbled blade and hardware. Thickish stainless steel liners. A stainless steel deep carry right hand only tip up pocket clip. Nice little gear pattern backspacer. Appears to be in the same Tan G10. Ball bearing flipper. Whoops. Forward choil. Great for fine work. Your Nitro V blade is 2 3/4 inches long. The handle 3 5/8. So very efficient blade to handle. Rock solid lockup. There's your engagement. Super smooth ball bearing action. And the centering is perfect. Condition will be near mint to like new. In box, you can buy these brand new for $70, but I'm not sure I found tan in stock anywhere. Your price on this one, $50. All in, shipped, priority mail. $75 with an Apostle P edge. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 4. That is the Ferrum Forge Mini Archbishop. Next up. This is pretty cool, boys. It's really cool, actually. If you notice, that plastic tube says Demko on it. Shark foot. Or shark lock. It's not a shark foot. Inside, we got a little baggie with the tumble polished clip, and it's sad. These are both right-hand clips. Anyway. Too bad there's no lefty clip in here. You boys might have never seen this knife. But this is what makes it interesting. The scales and the original molded polymer scales are not with this. This is how this knife came with the, but it would have originally had the FRN or whatever, the Grivery scales, the base knife. These are from Original Goat, and they're the Original Goat stocky aluminum scales. But I want you to look at the ano, man. It's bluish, it's greenish. It almost makes the scales look translucent. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And then it's got the black deep carry clip. This right-hand tip up only. We can fling it out with the thumb studs. We could sweep it out with the opening hole. Or we can shark flip it. Anyhow, it's the AD 20.5 clip point in AUS 10A. Blade 3 3/16, the handle 4 7/16. What a beautiful knife in the hand, man. Oh, and it's a clip point. If it had a lefty clip, you guys would never see it. I'm just saying. Anyhow, ball bearing pivot, by the way. Shark lock. Rock solid lockup. You saw the action. It's beautiful. The centering's perfect. It's, I said very close. Let's see. I don't know, man. It looks pretty perfect today. Anyhow. Near mint to like new in the plastic tube. So, the knife was $160 with the original plastic scales. The scales were $89. I saw the receipt. So what does that mean? $249 is the investment by my seller. Your price $160 like it is. $185 with an Apostle P edge. That's the Demko AD 20.5 clip point plus custom scales. Next up, we got a little baby box from Hinderer. Inside it is an XM18 3-inch Spanto Gen 6 Triway in Stonewash Blue and Coyote Tan G10. What a little stunner that is. There's your Coyote Tan G10 scale. Bright hardware and standoffs. Blue anodized Stonewash titanium frame and clip. Little tiny bit of burnishing on the end of the clip from light carry. Bearings are installed. The blade, CPM 20 CV in a Spanto. Just so you know, 3 1/16 blade, 4 1/8 handle. It is a steel inserted titanium frame lock with Hinderer lock bar stabilizer. Super free ball bearing action. Perfect centering. Action, lockup, all beautiful. We'll call it near mint inbox. These are out of stock. When they were available on the internet, they were $425. Your price on this one, $325 like it is, $355 with an Apostle P edge. That's the Hinderer XM18 3-inch Spanto. Next up, we have a very interesting situation. I have 5, count them 5, Spyderco knives, sprints or exclusives that have the blue Nishijin glass fiber handles. There are 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I'm going to tell you this. If you want all 5, $500, which would be a steal when you see the individual prices. So, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to show you all of them with the individual pricing. You can buy all 5 for $500, or if one of the 5 is gone, you can buy any that remain for $100 a piece. So the first blue one, here we go, is the little lum in the blue Nishijin. This is such a sweet little knife. Blue Nishijin on both sides. You will recognize the lum design, right? You got VG10 blade, 2 7/16 inches in length, a 3 1/4 inch handle that houses a stainless steel liner lock mechanism, built in Seki City, Japan. Rock solid lockup. Beautiful action. The centering on this one, on the lum, perfect. Riding on Teflon washers, by the way. They call it the bamboo leaf blade. They are discontinued and out of stock. Sold listings on eBay ranging between $187 and $210. This one can be yours. $145 like it is, $165 with an ApostleP edge. And the clip is tip up and ambidextrous. The Spyderco Little Lum Limited Edition Blue Nishijin. Next up, another little Spidey box. Another blue Nishijin knife. This is the Cricket. Probably my favorite Cricket ever. So it's a stainless steel frame lock mechanism with the blue Nishijin on the show side. Look at this chatoyance. Oh. Tip down right hand carry only. Stainless steel frame lock mechanism. And I believe this is riding on phosphor bronze. That is a very distinctive Cricket only blade. This was a collector club knife. 004. Lockup is rock solid. Engagement is deep but secure. Centering is very close. I think it favors the top as you're looking at it very slightly. Condition, near mint to like new in box. They're, of course, long discontinued, not a stock. They were a sprint run. Found one sold listing reference. It was at Country Knives for $175. This one can be yours, $100. I'm sorry. They did $180 at Country. This one is $110. Like it is $135 for me to sharpen that very interesting edge. $110 like it is, $135 sharpened on the Cricket and blue Nishijin. Next up, this one's going to come without a box, but you get, even better, you get the Spidey pouch. And this is the Spyderco Spin, I believe designed by Eric Glesser. Another stainless steel frame lock knife, very similar to the Cricket in construction. Phosphor bronze pivot. But this one is kind of an Eric Glesser Warncliffe. 1 3/4 blade, 2 5/8 handle. Right hand tip down. Action's beautiful. Centering is perfect. We'll call it near mint in pouch. These are discontinued and out of stock. One sold listing, nothing on eBay, just one at Country Knives, sold for $175. Let's do this for $100 like it is, $120 with my edge. That's the Spyderco Spin in blue Nishijin. Next up, it just gets better. Our fourth blue Nishijin Spidey is a stretch. And not only is it wearing the blue Nishijin glass fiber scales on both sides with the 4-way Spyderco clip. It's also in VG10 Damascus. We have another Collector's Club knife. It says 004 there. So you got a 3.5 blade, a 4 7/16 handle, midlock mechanism, rock solid, nice free action, centering on the stretch, pretty much perfect. We'll call this near mint to like new in box. And this was a Motang distributor exclusive, by the way. They're discontinued and out of stock. The only sold listing I could find for this knife was one knife on eBay that sold for $294. I'm sorry, that's not correct. $295, and it was at Arizona. Let's do this one at $160 like it is. $185 with an ApostleP edge. The Spyderco Stretch Damascus Blue Nishijin. Next up, from Spyderco, and this is my pick. Oh, I've wanted a Stretch XL. Is this the one? I don't know. With Damascus blade and blue Nishijin glass fiber scales. The Stretch XL is just a beautiful knife in the hand, and what a gorgeous version. Blue Nishijin glass fiber scales, blue anodized deep carry titanium pocket clip that's 4-way positionable, and I believe the original clip is in the box. It is. It is, of course, a midlock design with the boy dent to prevent accidental release. Rock solid lockup. The VG10 Damascus blade, another Collector's Club knife. Just beautiful. Again, nice free action and dead perfect blade centering. It'll be near mint to like new in the box. Discontinued, not out of stock. The sold listing, and I could only find one for a price reference, was on eBay, and it did $294. This one, $175 like it is, $200 with my edge. Spyderco Stretch 2 XL in Damascus and blue Nishijin. Next up, the Spyderco party rolls on, but we're done with the blue Nishijin. Another little Spidey box. Inside it comes a Leafstorm. And this is done in Jade G10. But this is before the Blade HQ Jade G10 craze, right? Also a Jade G10 backspacer. But it's a titanium frame lock. Should be from Taichung. Let's see. No, it's Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. How about that? Blade steel S30V. Pretty cool knife because it doesn't look like it has a forward choil, but it definitely begs you to sneak up. The blade on the Leafstorm is 2 7/16. The handle is 3 5/8. It is a non-inserted but carburized titanium lock face. Pocket clip will be right-hand tip-up only. There's your lock engagement. No stick, no slip, rock solid. Should be riding on phosphor bronze, I believe. Blade centering is going to be close, but it does favor the top as you're looking at it. It's kind of hard to see with that Jade G10, but that's the way it is. We will say near mint in box. These are discontinued, not out of stock. Sold listings on eBay vary wildly between $286 and $435. This one can be yours, $250 all in, shipped priority mail, or $275 with my edge, and next day sharpening is available. That is the Leafstorm in Jade G10. Next up, I think we had a Peter Carey design knife earlier tonight, and we have another one. This is from Spyderco. The original label is gone from the end of the box, so we have a handwritten one. It's the Rubicon 2. I think a little better Rubicon than the first one. Wearing scales that are that gorgeous Deeply textured peel ply carbon fiber over G10 laminate. Orange G10 backspacer. And this is wearing a long black titanium deep carry pocket clip. It will be left or right hand tip up only. Is the original clip, yes, the original clip is included. It's a titanium liner lock knife from Taichung. Blade steel is S30V. The blade is a hollow ground swedged spear with a very slight recurve. 3 1/16 is the blade length. 4 7/16 is the handle length. Non-inserted titanium liner lock, so it's most certainly carburized at the Taichung facility. Ball bearing pivot. Centering's perfect. Whoops. Flipping action is better than I made it. And the lockup is rock solid. Near mint to like new in box. These are discontinued and out of stock. I could find no sold listings on eBay for this knife. I did find a pricing reference of a sold knife at Country Knives. It did $375. Your price for this one, $225 like it is, $250 with an ApostleP edge. That's the Spyderco Rubicon 2. Next up, another kind of short-lived production Spidey. Comes in a big box, but it's kind of a smaller knife. It's the Brower. Here you go. Kind of an all-business knife. And I believe this designer is a first responder in New York. He might have been involved in 9/11, I think. So it's a very small, pocketable, like small Sebenza size knife with a Reeve integral lock. It does have a steel lock bar insert with an over travel stop. It's wearing a long, deep carry titanium pocket clip. It will be ambidextrous tip up. Opens with a hole. Imagine that on a Spyderco. The blade steel on the Brower, S30V. The spear point blade is 2 13/16 inches in length. Definitely wants you to be up in that forward choil for fine work. The handle's 4 inches. That is an MXG clip, by the way, and the original is in the box. There's your lock engagement. It's beautiful. It is rock solid. Ball bearing pivot on this one, I believe. Centering is dead perfect, and the condition will be near mint to like new in box. One sold listing on eBay is all I could find. It did $182. These knives are not very prevalent in the market. They're kind of rare. Your price on this one will be $150 like it is. $175 with an ApostleP edge. That is the Spyderco Brower. Next day sharpening is available, by the way. Next up, a pretty doggone cool knife that I think has a derivative that became much more popular than the original, okay? There you go. It's the D'Allara 3. So we all know the Mannix 2 series of knives with their caged ball lock. Well, the D'Allara was the first Spyderco, I think, to use a ball bearing lock, and it is a large white ceramic ball bearing, and you can see the spring-loaded piston behind it, but there's no cage to grab, and these were kind of not very ergonomic. You have to pinch that ball, you have to come forward, pull it back, and then fling the knife down. So you come forward, pinch the ball, pull it back, and then fling it close. So not very ergonomic, but significant, right? Black G10 scales. Ambidextrous tip-up deep carry wire clip. Hard to read it there, but it says S30V. I got fingerprints all over it. Kind of a cool modified sheep's foot design. Designed by Sal Glesser. Who's that? Dimensions, 3 3/8 blade, 4 3/4 handle. Ball bearing, phosphor bronze washers, and an opening hole. The lockup is dead rock solid. And the centering on the D'Allara is perfect. We will say near mint to like new in box. Long discontinued, not a stock. One sold listing only on eBay. It was $190 shipped. Let's do this one at $160 shipped, priority mail, $185 with an ApostleP edge. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 4 tonight. That's the Spyderco D'Allara 3. Next, we have the Rob's Pick tonight. And it's a Spyderco. And it's a Kapara. I'll mention this before I forget. It has a black wire clip installed. I believe that's the original bright clip that you'll have in the box. So the Kapara is just a beautiful knife. I think it's just a beautiful knife. Beautifully crowned, satin finished, carbon fiber scales, red G10 backspacer, compression lock mechanism. Opens very nicely. I believe this is on phosphor bronze. I believe. Centering is beautiful. Lockup is rock solid. Action is stunning. The S30V blade is 3 5/8 inches in length. The handle is 4 11/16, and it's just money in the hand. It is just money in the hand. We'll call it near mint in box. These currently available for $264 web retail or Spyderco map pricing. This one let's do at $160 like it is, $185 with my edge. The Spyderco Kapara, and that is the Rob's Pick tonight. Next up, our rare and awesome Spyderco parade continues. We're going to get just a pouch with this one. This is the Jens Anso designed Zulu for Spyderco. The black G10 scales, of course, are milled with an Anso pattern. The pocket clip on this knife will be right-hand tip up only. Oh, no, right-hand tip up or tip down, excuse me. Opening hole and phosphor bronze washers on that distinctly Anso blade, which is crafted from CPM S30V. And there's Jens's maker's mark. Blade length 3 1/16, handle 4 inches. Kind of locks the hand in very nicely. Lockup on the stainless steel liner lock mechanism is rock solid. Action is nice and spidey smooth. Centering is perfection. We'll call it near mint to like new in box. Long discontinued and out of stock. Sold listings on eBay range wildly between $164 and $300. Your price for this one? $150 like it is $180 for me to sharpen that recurve nightmarish blade. That is the Zulu from Spyderco, designed by Jens Anso. Next up, one of these days I'm going to snag one of these. We get no box with this knife, but we do get a Spyderco pouch. It is the icon, the Centofonte 3 from Spyderco, with maybe the coolest set of FRN scales ever on a Spyderco. You've got those swooshes, and you have a polished aluminum bug on the show side, plain on the right side, or on the lefty side, the clip side. Yeah. Right hand tip up or down, mid-lock mechanism, VG10 blade, hollow ground, 3 1/8 is your blade length, 4 1/2 is your handle. And it's just beautiful in the hand. Just beautiful. Kind of a, I don't know, man. It's almost like an Indela size knife, right? Pretty cool. Very slight clip wear on the end and a couple little trails in the finely grained FRN. So very near mint in a pouch, and the centering is close, very close. Maybe you could call it perfect, maybe. Long discontinued, not a stock. These are always on eBay, and they come in a variety of conditions because they were an inexpensive knife. Price on eBay for used ones between $66 and $95. And this is an awful doggone nice one. Let's do 70 like it is. 95 with my edge on the Spyderco Centofonte 3. Next up, ooh, one of the coolest Spyderco folders ever made. This is the original pouch, so it's a special Spidey. It is the Walter Brand and Perella designed Mamba. That is just a bad Mamba Jama right there. Beautifully drilled and milled carbon fiber scales, thick slabs of carbon fiber over equally thick titanium liners. Pocket clip on this one is going to be curved, so it's right hand tip up only. It is a ball bearing flipper, and it's a bad Mamba. Two-tone blade. There's the Brand and Perella etch for the maker's mark. Blade steel is S30V. Two-tone blade. So you've got what looks to be a PVD coating over the satin on the hologram bevel and swedge, and then a horizontal satin on the flats. Non-steel inserted titanium liner lock. Locks up pretty early, but very solidly, super solidly. No stick. Beautiful ball bearing action. Hard to see the tip of that blade. Let's see. But its centering is perfect. Condition will be very near mint to like new in box. Oh, I didn't tell you. It's a big knife. 3 3/4 blade. 5.5 inches a handle. Yeah. Oh, man, does that lock. Man, beautiful. Discontinued, not a stock. Sold listings on eBay. You ready for this? Between $656 and $750. Your price on this one, $500 like it is. $525 with an ApostleP edge. That is the Spyderco Brand Mamba. Next up, I got something pretty cool for you guys. It comes to you from Poland. So let's see what we got in here. I got a little, oh, look at that. Polish Custom Knives. He's a distributor, I believe. I got a couple stickers and whatnot. I don't know. But it is from Herman Knives. I think these knives resemble a little bit of the Shuragorov product line. You might think this is going to be a titanium frame lock because you got this blue-gray anno over a finely milled titanium slab on both sides, but you'll notice there's no lock bar cut out because it's a titanium liner lock. It does have a milled titanium clip for right-hand tip-up carry. It is a ball bearing flipper. Listen to that. It makes a cool sound. The blade is very cool. It's almost got like a texture. I don't know if that is a ground bevel. I don't know. Deeply stamped maker's mark and steel designation. Very cool. It's called the Ishtar 272. The blade is M390 and it's ground super skinny. And guys, that's the factory edge. It's a very sticky, sharp, polished edge. I've got a sharpen price on it, but don't let me do it. You need to experience that factory edge yourselves. So the blade is 3 13/16. The handle's 4 7/8. I don't know if you really want to come forward there. Lockup is rock solid. The ball bearings are super free and super smooth. The blade centering, look how skinny that tip is. Looks perfect. Beautiful sound when it locks open. Like new in pouch, made in Poland. My consignor paid $7.90 for this brand new. Let's do it at $5.50 like it is. $5.80 with an ApostleP edge. That's the Herman Knives Ishtar 272. That brings us to the last knife in tonight's sale. It comes in a big old box. Is this thing worth opening? Yeah. I got a cloth. I got a Pelican style case. Kind of cool. I have a COA. It is the Winter Blade Factor in M390 with a titanium handle. It does have a carbon fiber trigger. These are so cool. They are so cool. So, titanium handle, beautifully milled. Pocket clip, black coated or anodized titanium, milled titanium, and it is going to be tip up right or left hand carry. And so this knife has some party tricks, right? So you open it, you can open it like that, no problem. And it's sort of like a modified axis lock mechanism. The detent is magnetic. It has what Winterblade calls the MDS, or magnetic detent system. So it's actually held in place by rare earth magnets. So you can open it like that. You can sweep it. Or you can trigger it. Pretty cool. On ball bearings, of course. M390 blade, 2 7/8 inches in length. Pretty usable utility blade. 4 1/4 handle. Carbon fiber trigger. Lockup, by the way, rock solid. Action, unbelievably free and smooth. Centering, perfect. Condition, like new in the box. These are available new for pre-order only. And I think they do more than they cost new on the used market. I found one sold listing on eBay for a Factor in this exact configuration. It was a $490 buy it now that was sold for a best offer, so I don't really know. This one can be yours, $425 like it is, $455 with my edge. I like it. That is the Winter Blade Factor Batch 3, B3, by the way. And that, my friends, will bring us to the end of another weekly knife sale on the ApostleP channel. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. Now commence to clicking.